Hope you guys are doing well. Happy new week, because today is Monday, yeah, the 25th. So today's message, I want to talk about, like, according to the title, as you guys can see, I want to talk about how God's children are the most hated. Okay, like, they're the targets. Actually, like, people target the children of God a lot. So today's word is sponsored by John chapter 15 verse 18 to 21. So, like, as usual, I'm gonna read for you guys and then we get into it. Yeah, it says, the title is "The World Hates the Disciples." So if the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. If you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. That is why the world hates you. Remember the word I spoke to you. No servant is greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will persecute you also. If they obeyed my teaching, they will obey yours also. They will treat you this way because of my name, for they do not know the one who sent me. Okay, so why the children of God are targets? It's because, like, first of all, Jesus has told us, like, they persecuted him, so they will persecute you also. Imagine, Jesus was a man who was pure, blameless, no sin, nothing at all, but he was persecuted. Like, people were looking for ways to make him look like, like he's trying to, like, change the norm, like the traditions, like people were looking for things to put on him in order to, like, get rid of him, because why? He had the spirit of the Lord. He was sent by God, meaning he was different. He was not following the normal traditions. He was following the laws of God. He was preaching the word. He was trying to bring people to God, and people of the world don't like that, so definitely they're gonna make you a target because you're not following the crowd, you're not following what they're doing. Okay, and people will try to change you as well. They will try to change you from the godly way into the worldly way. So people are gonna talk about you, people are gonna mock you like, expect every kind of, like, bashing, but at the end of the day, remember, like, when they mock you, they're mocking God. This is what people don't understand. Like, when you come for the children of God, you're coming for God, and it's like you're in a battlefield with God, because God is the one who fights our battles. You might think you're fighting me, but you're fighting God, bro. Like, that's what people don't understand, and that's why majority of the time you find, like, when people do evil against God's kids, like, things just start happening in their lives and they don't understand what is going on. They think you're the one who is doing all these things, not knowing it is God fighting your battles for you, working things out for you. Because when you fight the children of God, you're fighting God. Whether you want to hear it or not, that's the basic truth. So you don't want to be in God's wrath because you're fooling around with God's kids. You don't want that type of curse in your life. So start shifting, because I promise you it is all fun here. Like, okay, obviously not all fun, because definitely you're gonna experience adversities and all that, but at the end of the day, having God's backup, it's the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever. Like, I would never trade this for anything. I wouldn't want to live my life like before. Like, before I actually found Jesus, like, fully, I was, I knew I loved God, but I was still doing things of the world, so I was like hot and cold. I was lukewarm, you know, because I loved God, but at the same time I was doing things that go against his commands, you know. But now, since I stopped and like tried to change, like, okay, I'm in the process, obviously, because every day we live life a day at a time, because you never know what to expect, you know. So like, where I am currently, I wouldn't trade this for anything. Like, I don't want God to take his hands off me, and I would love it for you too. If you're like, you want the same, just don't fear, don't have shame, just come to God, bro, and I promise you, you'll love it here. So we all know, like, the devil has overtaken the world, you know. The world is the devil's playground, you know, so definitely he's the one who's in charge of the world, like what happens in the ground, you know. But overall, you know, it is actually God who gave him this dominion over the world, you know, because he was disrespectful, he was disobedient, you know. So he was thrown into the world to have domain over the world, and the devil's main objective is to bring chaos into the world, to make people forget the ways of the Lord, you know, because he wants people to go to hell with him, you know. He doesn't want to be the only one in hell. So obviously he's gonna try to recruit as many people as possible, you know, and he's gonna set so many traps to trap the people of God, you know. So as a child of God, if you're facing a lot of like hate, people are targeting you, you know, people are trying to make you feel less than, you know, they're trying to make you feel as if you're crazy for following God, you know, they're trying to make you feel like you're not good enough, or like, just because you don't succumb to what the world is telling you to do, you know. Like, don't be phased, because Jesus already prepared us psychologically before he left. He told us that, you know, if people persecuted him, they're gonna persecute us too, especially if we are trying to do things for him, you know. People are gonna persecute, you know. So just be prepared. Actually, personally, I expect hate. You know, if I do say so myself, like, whenever I go out, I expect hate. I don't go out expecting love, you know, because nowadays, like, you know, majority of the time when I speak, I end up speaking a lot about God and Jesus and all that, and you know, people of the world don't want to hear this, you know. Like, I don't know why people don't like hearing godly knowledge and information, you know. So when you're kind, when you're trying to be Christ-like, you know, like, people are not gonna agree, you know. So nowadays, actually, when someone shows me love, like, I like, that comes as a surprise to me. You know, because I'm like, oh, like, you know, at least there is someone who agrees, you know. But I go out expecting hate, and I'm like, I know, because I know at the end of it all, like, everything is working together for my good, you know. There's a Bible verse that says everything works together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose. So what other people mean for evil in your life, like, God will use it for good. So actually, if you're a child of God, everything that happens in your life is for your good, you know. As much as maybe in some things you may not see how that is for your good, but now that's the, like, the secret, that's the like, the goodness of God, you know. It's like, you can't understand God because his thoughts are not our thoughts, his ways are not our ways. So obviously, what God is working on, you can't be able to see it with your human eyes, you know. You can't be able to understand it with your human brain. That's why the Bible tells us, do not lean on your own understanding, you know, because your mind is not big enough to fathom what it is that the Lord is doing, you know, until He reveals it and until it's time for Him to do that thing in your life, then there's no way you'll be able to fathom, you know. So keep walking in the ways of the Lord, children of God. You know, because my message is to the children of God, you know. For those who get it, they get it, you know. So keep walking in the ways of the Lord. Don't be phased, don't give up. And whenever you feel like you're weak, please pray to God, because His strength is made perfect in your weakness, you know. Don't give up. Just keep going, okay? And just know, like, you're gonna receive a lot of hate. You're gonna be targeted by many. Like, you just have to be prepared for that psychologically, you know, because a few people are gonna like you, you know. Like, that's why Jesus told us, like, the world is gonna hate you because they hated Him first, you know. So you're not an exception. If Jesus was targeted, who are you? Who are you? Like, you know. Yeah, so that's my message of today. And you know, love and light, stay blessed. I'll see you all in my next one. So take care. Bye.